30 seconds. How'd you come to FFL?
Sure. So I came from a different IMO, and I started kind of seeing some, FFL is huge on social media, obviously. So I started seeing some posts on Facebook, and started kind of seeing some of the numbers that the producers were submitting and issue paying, and it kind of blew my mind. And I was kind of like, what the heck are they doing? What am I missing? Right.
Sure.
So that piqued my interest off the bat. And where I was at, I was kind of on an island by myself. I didn't really it wasn't a team environment. There wasn't leaderboards. So I didn't know how good I was doing or how bad I was doing, because I didn't have anything to gauge it. Right.
Sure.
So coming to Family First Life, finally taking the plunge and trying to figure out what they were doing different. Because I was issue paying maybe 8 to 10K a month. I thought that was good, right? But then when I came to Family First Life and kind of figured out what they were doing and how they were submitting those huge numbers, it actually just came down to is people are just working harder. And
right.
That's really what it is.
Sure. So where you came from, were you in a system where you were getting leads? Was it people that you knew? What was it, an IMO? Were you captive agent? Where were you coming from?
I was in an IMO, so I was accustomed to paying for leads. We didn't have a CRM or anything, so I kind of would go out. We had access to like mail houses, so we could drop mail and do direct mail, primarily for like final expense. And then I would find my own vendors as well. So buying the leads, I was accustomed to that part of it, but not to the extent of what I'm buying now. But I mean, it's only because the more you buy, the more people you see and the more money you make, right? So
all right. Well, that's really interesting. So you came, because I came from the insurance industry too. Buying leads was completely foreign to me. I had never heard of that, and my comp was super low, so that didn't sound practical at all. I was like, how could I afford leads? But you came from an IMO where you already familiar and already had multiple carriers, already buying leads, and this still was just, you couldn't even believe the opportunity kind of over here.
Yeah, very, very much so. And my comp wasn't low. I mean, I got a bump when I came here, but not like anything extreme. The main thing was I wanted to be part of this group of people who are just completely crushing it. That's what attracted me, is like, because I didn't know what the heck they were doing. I figured there was something I was missing, right? And really, it was just being part of the culture and the hard work and the system that Sean Mike built. Just that mindset that did it for me. And my numbers tripled. My first full year with Family First Life, my numbers literally tripled.
Wow.
Same carriers, similar comp, buying leads, but I just bought a lot more leads and worked harder and became systematic. I just followed what works for everyone else.
Sure. Wow, that's maybe one of the strongest testimonies to Family First Life that I've ever heard. That what you just said, like, I had so much similar over there. Comp wasn't too far different. We had leads, but just the culture of what we had here was so strong that you came over here and just right away, tripled your production. That's awesome. We're very good. So coming from that background, was it a quick start with FFL? Did you kind of hit the ground running? What did it look like when you first got here?
So I started in November of 2019, or middle of October. And I think I kind of gradually got to I had a couple months to kind of get acclimated, get my contracts in line, switched around. January and February of 2020, again, it was kind of like just a gradual thing, and then it kind of took off. And it really, at the end of the day, it was you. I think you are the company you keep, right? You level up. So that it had a lot to do again with the culture, but it wasn't instant, but it was close. I mean, it was a few months, and really, again, what it came down to is just the whole mentality. 30 appointments a week. Dialing on Monday, dialing on Thursday, running Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday and weekends. And I don't run every weekend, but it's just that schedule, and that's what works, right? The numbers will always fall in your favor. if you work it that way. And I didn't have that. Where I was at before, again, it was just more kind of like flying by the seat of my pants. I'd have good weeks and bad
Sure.
weeks, and it would be inconsistent, but it's because I wasn't systematic.
Sure, sure. Wow, that says a lot. What you said. So you really didn't have to adjust to the sales process, having to position the products, e-apps. It was really just you shifting your mindset. Like, okay, this is their system. This is how I work. Getting yourself in there, and that's what was the big upgrade for you.
For the most part, yeah, it was just, again, following the lead of everyone else. I will say where I was at before, I was pretty much strictly final expense. So the other thing that helped was to get into mortgage protection.
Sure.
I would say I'm about 50-50 now.
Hmm.
And mortgage protect that you get bigger pops and bigger sales with that. But the lead cost is I don't know why we only did final expense where we were at. To me, that doesn't make any sense, right? Because you're just
Sure.
completely closing yourself off from this whole other market. So I
Hmm.
think that as well, that definitely helped my numbers as well. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, that lead diversity is crazy. And especially now with like the instant internet and the old internet. Like, I mean, we have so much all these different kind of ways we can go. So for sure. So all right. So talk to us about, so you came in, really the biggest difference was our culture. And once you adjusted your mindset, that really helped you upgrade your production. Where did you get to the point? Talk to us about when you were finally at the point where you felt like, okay, like I'm operating here on a high level. Talk to us
sure,
about how many appointments you were running, lead spend, and kind of how you were conducting yourself week to week.
sure. So, I mean, I work the FFL schedule, so I'm dialing on Mondays and I'm dialing on Thursdays. As far as lead flow, I have a couple counties here. I'm in Milwaukee,
Okay.
so for mortgage, I get the buy per lead. I get the
Hmm.
retros and the mortgage protection leads. I do the call ins. So that ebbs and flows, right? Like sometimes you get a good amount of them. You wake up in the morning, you got a charge, and you got a bunch of leads in your inbox. And sometimes it's not like that, right? It comes and goes. So I would say my lead cost is somewhere around $2,000 a week, pretty consistently.
Okay.
Um, and I'm looking for 30 appointments a week, and I think that's common. So I'm not a 15, 20K a week guy. I'm a pretty consistent 10K a week. Like when I hit the Hall of Fame last year, I was at like 440. So my mind, and I heard Nick Ayala say this, and it makes such good sense. Is if you can book 30 appointments a week and you sit with 20 of them, which I think is pretty conservative,
Sure.
um, you sell half of those. Your average premium is $1,100 a month, 10K a week. So if you just laser focus on 30 appointments, you'll hit 10K a week, and your bad weeks will be 6 or 7, and your good weeks will be 13 or 14, pretty
Right.
consistently.
Yeah.
So I got on that schedule pretty quick. Just Mondays dialing, running Tuesday, Wednesday, running Thursdays. I mean, dialing Thursdays, running Friday, Saturday. I don't work every weekend. I got 3 little girls, but I work
Hmm.
enough. I work weekends when I can, and even if it's half
Sure.
of a Saturday, go out and make a couple quick sales, or a Sunday because that's the only time these people can meet. There's nothing wrong with going on a Sunday for an hour and booking a couple appointments and making a couple $1,000 and then going home and hanging out with my kids.
Sure. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, what you said is really powerful for everybody. People who are, top producers and people who are just getting started. And that is, you are, as a top producer, you're really just working the metrics.
Yeah,
So for people who are like, oh well, Ben is so great, in the house. He's probably a natural salesman. I can't say what he says. You're not even looking at it like that. You're looking at, okay, these are all people who requested coverage. I got 30 of them, and I'm going to book 30 appointments with these people who already asked, and then I'm going to sit with 20 of them. I'm going to sell half of those, and
right.
that's going to get me my number. That's really powerful. I mean, it kind of sounds like anybody can do it.
Thank God you don't have to be special to do this job, because if you did, I wouldn't be very good at it. It's just metric. You're not no one's born an insurance salesman.
Sure.
It, it doesn't take any special talent. It's just literally work hard and the numbers will fall into your favor as long as you're working. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah. So you're running a mix, mortgage, final expense, spend about 2K a week on those there, so you're writing spending 8K a month to write 40K, sounds like,
Yep.
and I mean those numbers work for anybody. I don't know many business owners that would hate on that ROI. That's not bad. And then okay, are you ever doing any travel trips?
Honestly, I'm pretty lucky that I really haven't had to, and I don't mean to say like had to like I don't want to, or it's not a good thing, because I'm not trying to be negative about it, but for me, I have so many leads in Milwaukee, right in my backyard, that I haven't done any, and I'm cool with that, having the three little girls at home, and
Yeah.
can stay right where I'm at. But then I see some guys, going out to Hawaii for a week and submitting 20K.
Yeah.
It makes you want to do it too. So for anyone, like if I was a single guy, I definitely think I would take more advantage of that. I am lucky to say that I don't necessarily have to, and with where I'm at with my family, if I had to, I would, right? But I don't have to, so I really have not.
Well, yeah, no, I think, I mean, obviously, the reason a lot of people do that many times is out of necessity, because there's just not enough
Right.
leads where they are at, and that works great for a lot of people. But yeah, so you have enough in your backyard to where you can run 30 appointments a week. So more power to you, man. All right, so obviously Hall of Fame. So you came in November of
Yep.
2019, took a few months. Hall of Fame producer your first full year in 2020. Are you on pace this year? Is going to be another Hall of Fame year?
Probably a little behind the eight ball,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely within reach for sure. A couple of bigger months. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I was at 100K after the first quarter, so it can happen. It can
yeah,
happen. We're building a team as well. Um, Not to make excuses, because Ivan, I think, hit Hall of Fame 2 ways last year, right?
yeah. Well, Ivan's a monster, man. The
Yeah, for sure.
but no, I mean,
Guys,
so
stop it.
hey everybody, you guys could be like Ben, make 400K in a year and just chill for the next year.
Yeah, I'm not chilling. I'm not chilling.
I know. I'm just
Yeah,
poking fun, man. You're crushing it. So obviously, I would transition. You are team building now.
yep.
So at what point in your FFL career did you start looking at it like a business as far as building a team and stuff like that? Was it from the very beginning, or was it a little bit later after you got some things down?
I can say right away I kind of started doing that, but I kind of had one foot in and one foot out.
Okay.
Um, I'm kind of, part of me wants to just go sell and then go home and not talk to anybody, and that I struggle with that sometimes, just to be completely honest. But I also know that the opportunity to build, it's such a huge um, you know huge opportunity in itself, and I don't want to not do it and then wait a couple years and still be where I'm at and look at what everyone else has built within that time span. So I would say I got more serious. I hired an administrative assistant in roughly like September of last year,
Mm-hmm.
and that has helped me, immensely. And then I have a part-time recruiter that started in January of this year. So I say October of last year, I really got more serious about it and kind of, you know, put more goals down in that respect as well, not just your personal goals. I think last year I was really focused on, I just really wanted a red jacket, and maybe I could have multitasked a little bit better and done a little bit better of doing both. But once I got that red jacket or knew it was in the bag, then I kind of like, okay, I can check that off the list. Now let's build something special, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep up with. It's hard to not play the compare game sometimes because you see these people just building so fast, and that gets a little overwhelming. But I'm trying to really focus on just building and bringing in new agents and showing them an opportunity that is like no other.
Yeah, for sure. Well, who better to teach you? I mean, you had your mind in the right place, because I mean, who better to teach other people than a top producer like yourself, who has done what you are leading agents to do. And so that's phenomenal. Where are you now with your agency as far as number of writing agents and volume?
Sure. So last month we had 35 writing agents, and we were right around we were right at like 250K. Last month was like a 5-week month. This month will be real close to that same. So the growth this month isn't, where it's never good enough, right? But
Right.
I want to double that as fast as I can, and then double that. I mean, that's everyone's, mentality. I think is just to grow. And
Well,
it's never
yeah.
fast enough.
Well, yeah. I mean, no. I mean, if you hit 250 last month in 5 weeks, and you'll hit it in 4 weeks this month, that's phenomenal. So good on you, man. That's great work. And obviously, 35 writing agents. You're got people in the pipeline. You're training them. So talk to us now a little bit as far as that transition. Was it a lot of warm market, reaching out to people you knew? Did you go into cold market recruiting right away? How does that look for you?
So I've always been pretty quiet on social media too. So that took a little bit of getting out of my comfort zone as far as trying to recruit warm market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've done some warm market, and then I'm spending money as well on cold market, recruiting leads as far as that goes as well.
Sure. Okay. And then speaking as someone who is, was and is a top producer and is bringing in new agents, what has been obviously not everyone is a top producer, everyone's not willing to make the sacrifice, has the work ethic, but that's fine. There's plenty of agents that will come into FFL and they're going to write 5-10K a month and they're going to be very happy, with
Sure.
that. As a top producer, speaking to many different people, warm and cold market coming in, how do you, and how would you coach other people building teams to how do you assess where someone is going to fall, and how do you help them reach their goals, whatever they are?
Sure. So I think as far as time spent with a lot of these agents, and I'm only telling you from what I've been told, right? I'm following the lead of everyone else. I try to meet
Sure.
agents where they meet me, right? You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
give them a whole lot more time than they're giving you, because then they expect more out of you than they're giving back, right? In a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say meet them where they meet you. There's, as far as if they're happy making 5-10K a month, that's fine, right? But if they're struggling and they're only making 5-10K a month and they want to get to 15, 20, 30K, I would say, number one, if they're not following the FFL schedule and engaged and really plugged into everything that's available to them, then that's their problem, right? And
Sure.
and then if they come to you again, and you got to be coachable, right? That's one thing I would say. If you're coachable, we have the FFL boot camps and stuff that are interactive. Get them through that, then they're serious about it. But again, get them to the schedule, the Monday, Tuesday, that will guarantee success, really, in my opinion. So
Sure. So
that's
it sounds like the same simplicity you employ in your own method and the way that you work, and just following the schedule yourself, is the same way that you deal with building a team. You bring someone in, hey, what are you looking for, and you help them get a plan to reach their goals. But it sounds like the main thing that you're telling people is, hey, we got this system here, just fall in, just
right.
do what we're doing. It's not rocket science. Is that, am I getting it right?
100%. It's so easy to overcomplicate this. And I mean, a lot of agents, they want to wait till they're perfect too to get out in the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to know all the product knowledge and every scenario and all these rebuttals. And the main thing is get out in the field. If you wait until you're perfect, you're never going to get out in the field, period. So get out in the field and stumble and fumble and call us when you're in the field, right? And we'll guide them to the right product and the right, policy and what to say and how to say it, and earn while you learn.
Yeah,
you can make money
100%.
First day out there. You don't know, one thing from the next, but you have the license. You're the professional, right? You got that. The client doesn't have that, so you're already one step ahead. And
Sure.
then write them up.
And that goes right into my next question. So obviously, Ben, you came from the industry. Like you said, you already knew a lot of the same carriers. You were familiar with this sales process, the e-apps, many of the people we talk to, and obviously some of the people having dramatic success, but they never had a sales job. They never sold. If they did, they never sold insurance. Maybe they don't know anything about insurance. And I think I probably already know the answer from the way that you're answering everything. But what would you say? How do you bring that person who doesn't know anything, about sales, about insurance, bring them into this and see them have success?
Yeah. So sorry, the call coming in.
You're fine.
We there's just a few things that we are kind of like non-negotiables in a way when they're new and they're coming in. And one is to be coachable, which everyone says they are, but you'll find out quick whether they are or they're not, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do have a boot camp that I don't know if you guys have a boot camp, or maybe we all have the same boot camp. But to me,
Mm-hmm.
that's like, if you want to work, if you want me to work for you, you need to go through that boot camp, because that's going to answer so many simple questions before you have them. And then we know you're serious, right? So get through the boot camp and then get leads and dial. I heard Sean Mike, or actually, yeah, I think it was Eric Anthony who said when he had first started, Sean gave him a pile of leads and said, call these people and tell them you're coming over tomorrow. Call these leads, tell them you're coming over tomorrow. It was something like that. But it can be that simple, right? It's just do that, and we'll figure it out as we go.
Right. Right.
Call them, tell me you're coming over tomorrow, and that's it.
Right. So you're a very big proponent of, hey, do the training that we have in place for you, fall in our system, and then just go out, break some eggs, and hey, you're gonna make some money while you're doing it. And that's the quickest way to learn.
And call me when you're in the house and I'll help you, right? But it can really be that simple. And obviously there's more to it than that. And I think but you learn that as you go.
Sure.
And you'll become an expert in a couple weeks. Doesn't take long. There's nothing complicated about this, but it's if you wait to get out in the field to become that expert, then you're never going to get out in the field.
Okay. And then Ben, a couple quick fire questions for you. What is as an individual producer, what is your top thing that you say, this helps me? Like, this is my number one. This helps me be a top producer more than anything else.
Well, I mean, I'm competitive, right? So I don't want to be mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think any of us that are successful in this business are here for mediocrity. I kind of self-coach myself a lot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll tell myself I'm the best agent, here in town.
Sure.
As funny as that may sound. And when you have bad days, you literally, this is cliche too, but fake it till you make it, right?
Sure.
If you wake up and you're not having the best day and someone asks you how your day is going, it's going great. It's awesome, right? You kind of have to self-coach yourself in a way, because this job, it's a roller coaster. So when you have the good days, act like, or Vince Lombardi, I think he said, right, when you get to the end zone, act like you've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have your big days, don't get too excited. And when you have your bad days, just know that it's numbers and you're going to get to the other side of it, and the other side's good. It's the people who fail to get to the other side. They quit before they get to the good. We've had these bad days so many times. We know it's just a matter of time that it's going to come around. But it's the people that haven't gotten to that point. That's where the confidence kind of starts to, come into play. So just get through the bad to get to the good. And the more you do it, the more confident you'll be. And when it happens again, then you just know it's part of the game.
Sure. So it sounds like you have a strong desire to succeed, laced with a determination to be positive.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a struggle. That's the positivity thing, but that's the whole point. This isn't easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most simple business. It's hard, but it's simple. So just know that.
Sure. So now building, next question. So as building an agency owner, seeing a lot of agents come in, be successful. I'm seeing agents come in and struggle and make their way out of the business. What do you feel like is a non-negotiable for an agent coming in for them to be successful? They got to have this if they're going to come in and be successful.
they got to have a good attitude, and they got to be coachable, period. I mean, your mind, you have to be positive. Don't come at
Hmm.
me with excuses and negativity, because then it wears on us too, right?
Hmm.
And we don't have time for that.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
be
So,
positive.
and I think that's something, I've heard people say many times. This in real, in all sincerity, this is a business, and I think that's, if you follow any business, entre leadership or anything like that, John Maxwell, that's a characteristic of any successful business owner, is being very coachable and being very positively driven. And so that's something you're looking for in your agents as well. And then what is something that, if someone has this, and I know it could be as simple as just the opposite answer, but someone comes in and they have this characteristic or they have this mindset, and it's going to push them right out of the business, what would that be?
Well, yeah, I mean, the opposite is a pretty easy answer, right? But
Mhm.
you know, someone who is just pessimistic about just everything in general, right? The glass is always half empty. It's never gonna
Sure.
work. It's never gonna happen for you here.
Yeah.
Go punch the clock.
Yeah. I think many places in life probably won't work at that punch clocking place too well either.
Yeah, that's true too. You're right.
But okay. And then obviously, Ben, we have a ton of agents on here. We're not just on, not, some on here, but obviously many that are going to see this. Ivan shares it, always gets hundreds of views, and
Sure.
everything from people who, like Ivan, like some other people on here who are top producers, like yourself, people who are, just really kind of getting into a rhythm, and people who haven't even sold their first policy yet. If you had one kind of parting shout, for all those people, and you given so much great advice, and you could repeat one of multiple things that you've already said, but if you had one parting shout for all of those people coming into the business to help them find success here, what would it be?
So me personally, I haven't really even scratched the surface of this opportunity, right? In general, I mean, it's kind of beyond my comprehension in a way of really what we have in front of us.
Sure.
So what I would say is, for especially the new people, like, it's so worth the fight, because what's the alternative? The alternative is trying to kind of go back to what you're doing, which obviously you weren't happy with in the first place, or you wouldn't be here, right?
Hmm.
So for me, it's just get through the bad and the struggle and the fight, because it isn't easy, but again, it is simple. So if you just follow the system, um, you will make it work here. You'll be successful, and it's not going to be easy, but the other side of it is so good, and otherwise you're just going to be back where you were before you got here. So
Sure.
I think in general, it's worth the fight. It's the best opportunity in the world, in
Yeah.
my opinion. I don't know anything else that I could do um, um, to put me and my family in a position where, again, I can't really comprehend.
Yeah, it's funny. I've heard some other people say it the same way. I don't think, obviously we've all had our rough days, and like you said, especially when you're getting started, it can be a bit of a roller coaster. But I don't think I've ever seriously considered quitting, because I'm like, what else am I going to do? Where I go out for a weekend and work, and Tuesday I'm getting $10,000 deposited in my bank. Like, I don't know. I
Right,
don't know what
right.
else I'm going to do
Where does that
besides
exist?
sell drugs. Yeah, right.
But there are a lot of agents who quit before they get to that good, right? So just get through the fight to get to that $10,000 weekend, and because then it becomes normal, and then you got to pinch yourself.
Right. Yeah, no, that's the truth. That's the truth. Well, Ben, last thing. So obviously we're aggressively building a team now. We're almost halfway through the year. Not quite there. What's our goal for the end of the year? What are you pushing for?
I want to be pushing 1 million by the end of the year, and that's a big number.
Yeah,
But with what we have going on and the people we're plugging in the system, and as fast as other teams are building, I don't see why that can't happen.
for sure. Well, you're crushing it, and you're aggressively building. Obviously, you know how to teach everyone that you're bringing in to be a top producer. So I think you can